Hey everybody, I'm Ethan James with thehonestcarpenter.com, and in this video I'm going to show you 6 stepladder tricks and tips that you might not have known about. Most of these things have to do with the top of the ladder, this area up here. It actually has a lot of different features, so we're going to focus on that, and I'll get into it in a moment. But before we get started, I just want to remind you that when the video's over, be sure to open a new tab and head over to thehonestcarpenter.com. I've got more tips, articles, and ebooks there. And I like to list the best tool deals that I find online. You can see a couple on my homepage, or just go to my shop tab where you can find links for all my preferred tools and materials. It's a good resource for DIYers looking to build their collections. If you have questions about your home or your own DIY projects, you can ask me through the contact tab up in the header menu. I always try to respond, so don't hesitate to reach out to me at thehonestcarpenter.com. Alright, getting on with the list. Our first trick has to do with these little holes on top of the ladder. They're easy to overlook, but these are actually tool holders. They're perfect for smaller things like screwdrivers and nut drivers, but they can also hold needle nose pliers point down. And they're large enough to hold the single handle of a bigger tool, like adjustable pliers or a nail puller. This keeps your hand tools right where you need them. You'll notice on my other ladder, this 8-foot Louisville, it has this oval-shaped hole. That's actually for holding a hammer. You can just drop the handle through the opening and it'll hang beneath the top. It's pretty easy to get it in and out, so it kind of keeps your hammer out of the way, yet accessible. My 6-foot Werner has this circular hole in the center that accomplishes the same thing. And since this hole is a bit larger, it also has a second function. It can serve as a drill holder as well. It's just big enough to fit the chuck and drill bit through, and it keeps the handle pointing up towards you while you're working. Once again, really easy to get the drill in and out, and you don't even really have to look down to grab it. Trick number 2 has to do with this weird little tab on the front of the stepladder. For years, I had no idea what this tab was for until I saw somebody use it. It's actually for holding your paint can. You can hook the wire handle of a 1-gallon paint can behind the lip of this little tab, and the bucket will just hang down in front of you. Then you can just reach over the ladder with your brush and paint straight up out of the bucket. It's a tiny feature, but I've always thought it's brilliant. Trick number 3, it's another paint-related feature. These concentric circles on top of the ladder. These circles are also for holding paint buckets, but a little higher up in case you're working higher on the ladder rungs. The largest circle holds gallon cans pretty tightly. As you can see, like when I put it in there, I can barely even jostle it. The smaller circle is for quart cans, same thing, very tight fit. And the circles even smaller than that are for a range of products. Here you can see the second smallest one holding my tub of spackle. And the smallest one holds like sample size paint cans, sort of like this little tub of plastic wood. My Louisville 8-foot only has one circle and it's for quart-sized cans. So older ladders tend to not have as many of these features, but they do generally have at least one of the circles, which could come in handy. Trick number 4 has to do with this little rectangular impression on the top of the ladder. This is a pocket for holding hardware. Nuts, bolts, screws, any type of fastener you might need can go in here. This little pocket is helpful, but I have one big problem with it. If you have to move the ladder, your hardware can easily tumble out. To solve this problem, I like to use neodymium magnets, or what everybody just calls rare earth magnets. They're incredibly strong and they often come in small packages like this. I'll link some of these on my website as well. Just separate one magnet from the others, then put a few dabs of super glue or Krazy glue on the back side. And carefully reach under the ladder and press the magnet to the underside of the fastener pocket. Hold it in place for about 30 seconds and that's it, it'll be attached. Now the fasteners stay right where they're supposed to. And you can see just how strong the bond is by the fact that this trim nail gets stuck standing on its head when I just drop it in. I can even tip the ladder all the way over and drag it around and nothing will fall out or even move. This saves you so much trouble when you just toss fasteners down here and be sure you aren't going to lose them. The older 8-foot Louisville doesn't have a single pocket for this purpose, but the whole top is slightly recessed. So you can just pick a corner, glue your magnet there, and you'll have a secure spot for your fasteners. For the last couple topics, I'm going to move into some slightly more general safety advice. So tip number 5. For any tool that I frequently use when I'm up on ladders, I like to make sure it has one of these little hooks on it. Some people call them sky hooks or just utility hooks, and most tools come with them these days, though you can buy aftermarket ones as well. These hooks let you hang your tools anywhere that the hook will fit. For instance, I like to hang my drill on the spreader bar of my 6-foot ladder. I can easily reach it there from lower positions on the ladder if need be. I also only buy caulking guns with this big U-shaped hook on the end. That way I can hang them on the back support of the ladder. That makes them very easy to reach from nearly any position, which is important because caulking guns are probably the tool I use most often while on step ladders. And finally, trick number 6 has to do with cord control. In instances where you can't use a cordless tool and have no choice but to set your tool on top of the ladder, you need a way to deal with the cord. Otherwise, it'll keep unplugging itself when you attach it to a power cord. Or worse, the weight of a heavy cord will pull it right off the ladder. This can be a disaster when you're working with a saw like this multi-tool. To deal with the issue, I like to tie my power cord to the highest back support of my ladder. I just make a quick loop around the bar and leave about 2 to 3 feet of slack. Now the cord is right where you can reach it, it stays put, and it doesn't exert any weight on the tool. As a bonus, if you have one of these Werners, you can actually accomplish the same thing with this little semicircular groove on the front. This groove is made to hold some sort of accessory paint tray, which I've never bought, but it's also perfectly shaped to hold the end of a power cord. You can just wedge it down in there, and it gets trapped, and now you can plug straight down into it. I don't know if Werner intended that, but it's yet another benefit of buying one of these particular ladders, which I really do think is the best 6-foot fiberglass step ladder on the market. So that's it, 6 stepladder tricks and secrets for you. I'm going to add one more in the tip of the week section on my homepage, so be sure to check that out. And I'm also going to add links for both these ladders in my shop, so if you're interested in getting one, you can find them over there. If you learned anything new from this video, let me know what it is down in the comments. And if you know something that I didn't mention, please let me know what that is as well. I love to learn new tips myself. As always, be sure to hit like and subscribe, and check out the rest of our videos for some different topics. Thanks for watching, everybody.